How miserable is the new year really for ordinary workers? In a time when everyone shouts let's just give up and lie flat, they don't even have the courage to think about letting everything go.
我本因为我们农村嘛，素质还是比较低下的。我来到富士康才知道，这才是社会的最底层。
说富士康这么烂，为什么还要来富士康上班？不是富士康选择了你，而是你选择了富士康。
如果你真活着只是为了打工，吃吃喝喝，然后打工，那你活着没什么意义，是吧？
The person who said that is Zhong Junjie, 28 years old. He has been working at Foxconn for 4 years. As an ordinary factory worker, the biggest dream of his life is to develop his own mobile app. But this dream made many of his co-workers laugh at him. They say he's all talk, that he's almost 30 and still living in fantasyland. They keep saying he's chasing unrealistic dreams. But Zhong Junjie doesn't care what people think. To him, success doesn't happen overnight. Behind every successful person there is a long path full of obstacles and setbacks. To turn his dream into reality, he made a firm decision. He quit Foxconn and started a small street business. Zhong sold electronic gadgets he bought cheaply online. Since the area around the factory has a huge flow of people, his sales weren't bad. Every night he earned more than 100 yuan. But as Chinese New Year approached, more and more workers quit and returned to their hometowns, and Zhong's earnings started to drop. Even so, he didn't think about returning to Foxconn. Compared to the past, spending more than 10 hours a day on the assembly line and still failing to save money, his current life was more free. At night he set up his stall. During the day he walked the streets trying to get investment for the app he was building. Despite receiving looks of contempt and mockery, almost no one stopped to listen. He believed that every business has a difficult beginning. After all, even Jack Ma was rejected by everyone when he started. When he tried to pitch partnerships in China, nobody believed in him. Just like Zhong Junjie, another young man named Zheng, 23 years old, was also desperately trying to escape the factory. Even though he was young, he already had 5 years of experience as a manual laborer. Because of his family's poverty, he dropped out of school early and left to work with other young people from his village. At first, he learned a bit of beauty and hairdressing. Later, he worked in a restaurant kitchen. But earning 800 yuan a month was nowhere near enough to support himself. When he heard Foxconn paid better, he joined without hesitation. The salary was indeed a bit higher, but the monotonous life on the assembly line left him hopeless. 3 years passed, and he still hadn't saved any money. With New Year approaching and not wanting to waste more of his youth, he quit. Following a friend's recommendation, he and his girlfriend went to Zhenjing looking for temporary work and dreaming of starting over. Along the way, he imagined himself making a lot of money, but reality hit him like a bucket of cold water. The labor agent who received them demanded 150 yuan each as a fee right when they arrived. On top of that, the promised hourly wage of 21 yuan was forcibly reduced. They cut 2 yuan from each hour. Zheng tried to argue and defend his rights, but the corrupt agent only agreed to pay 19. After several arguments with no result, Zheng stormed out, furious. He arrived full of hope. He left completely frustrated. As New Year approached, every home was lit up. He walked alone through the streets, lost and unsure where to go. I didn't think that far. I'll just take it one day at a time, he muttered. Zhong Yilong, 23, had already worked 4 years in the factory. He was a loyal customer of the street food stalls. The canteen meals never changed taste. To change things a little, from time to time he went out to eat something different. Meanwhile, Zhong Jixing, 18, had only been in the workforce for 2 months. One of them was mature and hardened, the other shy and reserved. But despite the difference in experience, their financial situation was equally miserable. Their low wages barely covered food, clothes, and a place to live. Buying anything extra required strict saving. That's why Zhong Yilong had not gone home once in 4 years. He was afraid of disappointing his parents for not achieving anything. And even more importantly, he didn't even have money to buy the traditional New Year gifts. Every year he told his parents he was too busy to return, when in reality, the factory's order volume was extremely low. If he were really busy, he wouldn't be drinking at a food stall, he would have been pulled into overtime. As New Year approached, the workload dropped more and more, and workers adopted a Zen attitude. Whether they worked more or less, the base salary of just over 2,000 yuan remained the same. So after work, they visited the night market or drank at the street stalls. Unlike Yilong, the reason Zhong Jixing, 18, didn't go home was different. He wanted to stay and earn more money. When he received his first paycheck, he gave 700 yuan to each of his parents. They were so happy they couldn't stop praising him, that he had grown up, that he could earn money and was still filial. Hearing the praise, Jixing became motivated and decided to earn even more to give his parents a better life. But the world grew harder. His salary barely covered his own basic expenses. There was nothing left to help his family. If you work more, you earn more. If you work less, you earn less, right? Everyone wants overtime. It's tiring, but at least the salary goes up. These words came from a seasoned worker from Gansu, with 7 years of harsh labor experience. That month, he had worked just over 40 hours and received a miserable wage, a little over 5,000 yuan, half of what he used to make. So he decided to go to Shanghai after New Year, believing that a more developed city might offer better opportunities. More importantly, he wanted to take advantage of his youth and try his luck elsewhere. In just a few days, he quit, packed his things, and prepared to travel. Even without knowing what awaited him, he spoke about the future with hope. China's market is huge. There are so many people, millions and millions of workers. If we do these little things right, we can keep moving forward. We're still young. For many workers, the biggest dream is to start their own business. The woman in the yellow shirt, for example, had traveled thousands of kilometers 2 years earlier to work there. Recently, her husband had earned good money from a business in Lanzhou, so she decided to resign and return home. She planned to build a big house and open a clothing or food shop. She talked about the future with bright eyes. When she left, she walked with a light step. The factory's assembly line seems endless. Workers repeat the same mechanical movements day and night, their time swallowed by monotony. Maybe just breaking free from the exploitation and the factory's constraints is enough to make life feel much lighter. Every year, before New Year, tens of thousands leave Foxconn. After the holiday, even more return. Many leave never to come back. Others end up returning because they have no choice. The narrow, chaotic streets around the factory represent, in the eyes of many, dirt, disorder, and decay. But it's there that the entire lives of countless low-income workers unfold. A simple, difficult, repetitive life. They don't have many options. Getting a job that pays the bills is already an achievement. The factory's exhausting pace destroys body and mind, but no matter how tough life gets, they keep trying to survive. In this neglected, messy, and crowded place, they write their ordinary stories. Small, harsh, quiet, but real.
When we look at all these stories together, it becomes clear very quickly what's going on. An entire generation trying to escape a cycle that feels impossible to break. Each person tries in their own way, each one makes a different plan, but the feeling is always the same. No matter how hard they try to change their lives, reality keeps pulling them back. Zhang Junjie's case makes this obvious. He spent years assembling phones for the whole world, but when he decided to build his own app, he became a joke among his co-workers. Not because the idea was bad, but because, for many people there, dreaming is something only out-of-touch people do. Still, he doesn't give up. He quits, sets up a small street store, looks for investors, explains his project to anyone who will listen. Most people ignore him, but he keeps trying. And in the size of his world, that alone is already real courage. Zheng's story shows another side of the same reality. He believed there was a better life outside Foxconn, left with his girlfriend full of hope, and was scammed the moment he arrived. He lost money, saw his promised salary cut, argued, solved nothing, and ended up having to walk away. He left looking for freedom and found just another closed door. It's basically the summary of anyone trying to climb a step without the foundation to hold them. Meanwhile, Zhang Yalong lives in that same survival mode as so many others. He works, eats whatever he can, drinks when he can afford it, and pretends everything is fine. He hasn't gone home in years because he thinks he'll disappoint his parents. He doesn't even have money to buy New Year's gifts. And no one is surprised this has become too common. His plan is simple: wake up tomorrow and see what he can do. That's it. The youngest one, Zhang Jixing, still believes he can improve his family's life. When he received his first paycheck, he gave part of it to his parents and was treated like a hero at home. That gave him motivation, but his salary barely covers his own basic expenses. He wants to help, he tries to help, but the math never works out. And the more he works, the more he realizes adult life is exactly that, doing the most and getting the least. Then there's the group that tries to move to another city. One experienced worker decided to go to Shanghai, convinced a bigger city might give him better opportunities. He doesn't know what he'll find there, but at least he doesn't want to grow old standing at the same assembly line. It's the standard reaction of someone exhausted. Let's see if it works somewhere else. And of course, there are those who manage to leave the factory for good, like the woman in the yellow shirt, who decided to go home and start her own life. She's the exception, not the rule. Most try to escape, get crushed by reality, and end up coming back, because in the end, Foxconn pays little, but it pays on time. And for many, that's reason enough to stay stuck there. The whole script shows exactly that, the lives of millions of young people trying to improve, trying to change, trying to dream, but always running into the same problems. Low wages, exploitation, no opportunities, high living costs, false promises, and that constant feeling that the future is always running late. They're not failures, they're just trapped in a system that wasn't designed for them to rise. That's why they keep trying. Even tired, they go to work. Even frustrated, they keep looking for a way out. Even knowing things barely change, they still believe that maybe one day things might be different. And maybe that's the ironic part. What keeps these young people standing isn't what they have today, but the hope that tomorrow will be better, even if it almost never is. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe for more videos like this, and share your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.